More than 200 protests in Iran in October. According to reports compiled in October by sources affiliated with the Iranian resistance, Iranians held over 204 protests in 59 cities and 24 provinces, with an average of 7 protests per day. Different sectors of society who either protested or were on strike include workers, defrauded creditors of the IRGC-backed corrupt financial institutions, pensioners, teachers, bazaar merchants, university students, farmers, and other groups, including villagers of and residents of Lordagan. In addition, there were 8 cases of hunger strikes by prisoners in October in 6 prisons across Iran. Iran briefly held nuclear inspector, seizing her travel documents. Iranian authorities briefly held an inspector working for the UN nuclear watchdog in Iran and seized her travel documents, diplomats familiar with the agency's work said on Wednesday, with some describing it as harassment. A European diplomat said there is a real concern that this will harm how the IAEA carry out their inspections in the future. This happened in the wake of the regime's recent breach of the nuclear deal and reducing its commitments under the terms of the Iran agents in US plead guilty to spying on MEK. 2 Iranian agents who were arrested last year in the US for spying on members of the Iranian opposition group MEK have pled guilty to the charges against them, the US Department of Justice announced Wednesday. The Justice Department said, Ahmad Reza Mohammadi Dostar, 39, a dual US-Iranian citizen, and Majid Gobani, 60, an Iranian citizen and resident of California, entered pleas of guilty yesterday to charges stemming from their conduct, surveillance of and collecting information about American citizens and US nationals who are members of the Iranian dissident group MEK. Jesse Liu, US Attorney for the District of Columbia, said, the Iranian government thought it could get away with conducting surveillance on individuals in the United States and by sending one of its agents here to task a permanent resident with conducting and collecting that surveillance. Executive Assistant Director Jay Tabb of the FBI's National Security Branch said, these individuals admitted to breaking the law and acting on behalf of Iran by collecting information about the activities of Iranian dissidents in our country. The FBI will continue to aggressively investigate illegal activity that threatens our fellow citizens and their constitutionally protected rights, and we will not tolerate any such activity conducted by the government of Iran or its agents. Iran official confirms oil exports have collapsed. The former chairman of the Iranian regime's National Security and Foreign Policy Commission says that the regime's crude oil exports are currently 20 times less than it was before the US sanctions. Before the US sanctions, the Iranian regime exported nearly 2.5 million barrels of crude oil per day. The current regime budget is based on selling 1.5 million barrels per day. Nonetheless, according to the International Monetary Fund, Iran's oil export will be limited to 600,000 barrels per day.